birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Good morning, birthday party.
The chickens are 2 today. Happy birthday, girls! Hey you guys, I'm Candace and our chickens are 2. So I thought I would take you on a little journey with our family's experience with chickens, tell you how we figured out what we wanted to get, where we got them, how we raised them, how it's been, pros and cons. So come along, I hope you learned something. There's never been a better time to be sustainable, and chickens are a really easy way to do that. So let's go. First of all, I apologize in advance for the vertical videos. I had no idea I would be starting a YouTube channel when we got these baby chicks, so you'll just have to deal with my perspective being a little off on some of these. We ordered our first round of chicks from Cackle Hatchery. I ordered them in January of 2021, and they arrived the first week in March. We actually decided not to start with the rooster, so we requested all hens and were really surprised and thankful that all of our chicks indeed turned out to be hens. We ordered 15, and when the post office called to tell us that our chicks had arrived, we were really surprised to find 18 baby chicks inside the box. I called the hatchery to tell them they sent us too many, and they kindly told me that they did that intentionally in case one died from travel stress. All 18 of them were just fine, so our flock started off with 18 hens. I had done a little bit of research to find out what chickens were the friendliest backyard birds and also proficient layers. We decided to go with Buff Orpingtons, Rhode Island Reds, and Cherry Eggers, which are basically just a Rhode Island Red crossbreed that lay a pretty pinkish brown egg. We set up a metal cattle feeder as our brooder, with pine shavings and a heat lamp. The first night that we had them, I woke up twice during the night to go check on them. I'm sure some of you mothers can relate to maybe feeling that same way with your newborn babies, but I definitely was a little paranoid that first night that they would die or drown in their water. We actually decided to put some rocks in their water for that very reason, so that there was less surface area of water for them to fall down in and potentially drown. We only kept the rocks in for those first few days. We had been warned about pasty butt, and yes, that's necessary to do, but basically you just have to check their vents on their bottom to make sure that poop did not get stuck to their tail fluff. Baby chicks don't have feathers when they're very young, so if poop gets stuck to their fluff, it can block their vent from any more poop coming out, and sadly, it can kill them. We put apple cider vinegar into their water for the first few weeks. This was to help build their immune systems and strengthen their gut health. We fed them organic starter feed while they were in the brooder. And I will admit, we were all a little bit obsessed with them when they were tiny. And they definitely got lots of cuddles during those first few days. Cleaning the brooder required moving the chicks out, which was much easier before they could fly. My girls and I just moved them into a plastic storage container, and they'd all snuggle up while we scooped out the shavings and replaced them with fresh ones. I don't have a picture of this, but once we even took my girls' magnet tiles and built a little maze for them to run through. That was a great idea until I realized that chickens poop every couple of minutes, and so we had to clean all of those tiles off, and it was pretty gross.
All going wild.
After about a month, we moved the chicks from the brooder in our basement to their outside coop. They looked so tiny inside that great big thing, but they adapted just fine. We switched their food over from starter feed to pullet feed, which basically means teenager chicken food. We sourced our food from an organic mill close to where we live. We found this food to be much better quality than the food from Tractor Supply. To me, it matters what we feed them. If they lay eggs that my family will eat, what they eat matters. I will say, I was really impressed with how well my children adapted to having chickens. On the day that we moved them out to their coop, as you can see, my 5-year-old was eager to lean right over and scoop up one of those little chicks and put them in their new coop. She was fearless. My teenage niece, on the other hand, wasn't quite so into it. We did not transfer the heat lamp out to the coop, and we haven't ever really added outside heat. We knew that since they had feathers, they would be okay outside in the spring temperatures. We used an old corrugated pipe cut in half to put their food in. This is what we still use 2 years later and was a great use of scrap materials on our property. Y'all know what I say, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Our coop was custom built by a local woodworker, and no, we did not use our scrap materials to build this. Give me a break, this was our first time, but I will say my husband did build a coop later on down the road, which I'll show you in another video. But we were really thrilled with how our coop turned out. Yes, the flower box on the outside was real cute, but ask me how many days those flowers lasted, and no, we have not planted more. The chicken love from our girls was fierce from the get-go, and it hasn't really died down at all. Yes, they named each and every one of them. And yes, they claim they can tell them all apart, and yes, we have favorites. My oldest daughter even figured out how to discipline a chicken. Here, let her show you, in case you don't know how. No, how?
This is how you discipline a chicken. You push his butt.
Maybe she did figure it out after all, because there's no question that she is the best chicken handler in our family. Of course, we have had to talk to our children about the importance of good hand washing after holding these birds, and they do a good job about that for the most part. The hens enjoy garden scraps and kitchen scraps to supplement their grains, and they are let out every day for free ranging over our 8.5 acres. The most exciting day since having our chickens came in August when we got our first egg. So our ladies were just 5 months old when they started laying, and we were thrilled. It wasn't long until we started getting at least a dozen every day. We keep our eggs unwashed on the counter and have sold them to many folks in the community over the last couple of years. For predator protection, my husband buried hardware cloth around the coop, creating an apron-type barrier to prevent animals from burrowing or digging underneath the coop. We bought fencing from Premier One, solar electric mobile fencing that allows us to move the run as we need to. It didn't take very long for the chickens to trample all the grass in their run, and we haven't been able to get grass to grow there since. Sadly, we have lost a couple of hens to what we think is a hawk over the last 2 years because they just disappeared. While we never saw a hawk take them, we feel like that's probably what happened. The only other hen we have lost over the last 2 years was killed by a fox. We let them out of their coop at daybreak, and one of them flew over the fence, and a fox came and got her and several of our guinea fowl. We do clip their wings, but a few of them can still fly out if they want to bad enough. The only other real issue we have had is that one of our Rhode Island Reds started acting funny this past summer. She had goop hanging from her vent, and we assumed that she was egg-bound. She was walking funny, so I soaked her in a warm Epsom salt bath and stuck my finger up her butt to try and help her. Nothing came out. We still aren't really sure what happened, but she healed up just fine after some apple cider vinegar and colloidal silver in her water. We did keep her separated from the rest of the hens for a few days until we knew she was well. I'd have to say the overall pros to having your own chickens is, of course, fresh eggs. There's nothing like a pastured egg. It's better than a store-bought egg. And a pastured chicken has access to vegetation and sunlight all day long, and they'll lay an egg that's rich with protein, healthy fats, and essential vitamins. The bright orange yolk, you really can't beat it. Another pro is the level of care needed. Aside from giving them a scoop of grain in the evening and keeping their water filled up and cleaning their coop, chickens are really pretty low maintenance. I will say a con is that if you want to make money selling eggs, you need way more chickens than the number we have. With just 15 hens, we will never sell enough eggs to even break even on our food cost. So it seems like at least 50 hens, if not more, would be enough to become profitable in egg selling. The other con is that predators, they can be a major threat. You do need to make sure your coop is secure, and having a dog outside is helpful if they free range. We are by no means experts. We still have so much to learn, but as far as I'm concerned, we never want to be without our own chickens. In fact, because our egg production has slowed down just a little bit after 2 years, we've already purchased 5 new chicks to add to our flock and keep up with our egg laying. We do have a goal of adding meat birds in the next year, which will be a whole new ball game. And we are hoping that one of these chicks is a rooster. We bought them straight run from a friend, and they will be a combination of Lavender Orpington, Americana, and Barred Rock. Yes, my children have already named them. I think that's just the way it goes. But I hope you guys have learned something. If you're thinking about getting chickens, I say do it. And if you have any questions, please comment in this video. If I can't answer, I'm sure there will be a wealth of people who can. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching, and God bless you all.